Dear viewers, we are glad that now we have Comrade Brinda Karat with us, and I think she doesn't need any introduction at all. She is a well-known personality, ex-Rajya Sabha member, CPIM Politburo member, and for the last many decades she has been working in trade union activities, and she has been voicing the opinions of oppressed people at various places on various platforms. Glad that you came here, ma'am, on your visit. Thank you for giving us this interview. Ma'am, may I know what's the purpose of your visit here?
Well, you said I had worked with trade unions for a long time, but that was many years ago.
Yeah.
I was working in the Textile Workers Union in Delhi. That is in the 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
And then I worked with the women's organization. But basically, ever since I joined the Adivasi Adhikar Rashtra Manch, that is a tribal organization, and we have fought for the rights of tribal communities. And particularly when I was in Parliament, I was a member of the Select Committee, and we managed to push through the Forest Rights Act.
Yes.
Even though I still believe that there are inadequacies in that law, but after all these years, it turns out that it is a law which acts as a barrier to prevent corporates from taking over the rights of Adivasis and forest land. This is a barrier to it. And in Telangana, not only is the Forest Rights Act not being implemented, but the land is actually being taken away from the tribals. And today we had a very big rally in Kottagudem, organized by the CPIM, to raise the issue of tribal rights. And the main mobilization was tribal communities, but many other citizens of the district also participated, because they know that if tribals in Telangana are deprived of their rights, then it can be said there is no democracy in Telangana.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that even common people also came in large numbers.
Exactly.
In aid of these tribal people.
Right.
For the support of their rights. Glad to hear that, ma'am. And another important issue now we are witnessing here, of course, in the entire country, is about the 3 anti-farm laws and 1 electricity reformation bill. You know that a very powerful peasant movement is going on now. What do you think is the contribution of CPIM in this particular peasant struggle?
I think it would be not doing justice to the huge upsurge among Kisans if we started looking at what is the role of this or that party, because it can be taken for granted that right from the day that the ordinances were brought in June 2020, there was no emergency for the ordinances to be brought. Why? What was the need for the ordinances? Why they did not go through the ordinary procedure? So the CPIM, right from the beginning till today, has been opposing the laws in Parliament, outside Parliament, and mobilizing sections of people in support of Kisans, apart from the Kisans, all these months. But I think the significance of this struggle is that the Kisans themselves have decided the shape, the form, and the sustainability of this movement. And the strength of the Kisans is what has completely rattled the Modi government. Totally.
Completely shaken to the core.
Shaken to the core means they thought, bhai, hamare paas majority hai. bulldozer hai. Bulldoze the Kisan have answered with a tractor.
Yeah.
So undemocratic, authoritarian bulldozer, Modi ji's didn't work.
Yes. And one interesting observation also I came across, comrade, that is, these both persons, Amit Shah and Modi, underestimated the ideology of left among the people of Punjab and Haryana.
I think that's a very important point. See, people of Punjab have got the legacy of Bhagat Singh.
Yes.
People of Punjab have got the legacy of the Babur Akalis.
Yes.
People of Punjab are the fighters for freedom.
Yes.
People of Punjab have got a historical legacy
Yeah.
of the fight for justice. The historic struggles
Yes.
are in their blood.
Yeah. Please.
Thank you.
Please say it. I already had. Please. Yeah.
So, that legacy has come to the fore today.
Yeah.
And the left ideology to struggle for justice. Many of the Kisan, they are not members of any this or that party.
Yes.
But as you very correctly say, ideology of justice and struggle, that is ingrained in the culture of that area of India who are leading the struggle. But that is not to say that the struggle is only limited to the two states. I don't mean the word limited in that sense, geographical. I mean the issue is one which, has affected Kisans all over India.
Yes.
So it's actually an all India struggle.
Yeah, and it's an all India struggle, but the determination of the Punjabi farmers, Haryana farmers in the front line, and the skill of the organizational capacities of the left ideology, it's a very potent force. Combination is a very deadly combination for Modi and Amit Shah's.
And that is true, but I tell you, the culture of the langar,
Yeah.
the langar, Guru Nanak ji had stated, when he was blessing the Kisans and urging them to join the struggle, he had said, whatever you produce, make sure no one goes hungry.
Yeah.
And they started this culture of feeding people so that nobody can go hungry.
Yeah.
And anybody can go in the Gurdwara and they can eat. So that culture, they have brought into the struggle.
Yes.
And you won't believe it, but entire country and the world is astounded
Yes, astounded. Really.
by this culture where they are braving the cold, they are braving the repression, they are braving the lathis, they are braving everything, men and women and children, and they are feeding people. Now you tell me,
Even the police also sometimes.
police always.
Yes.
Sometimes they are always there to be, if they want,
Yes,
they.
yes, yes.
But look at this contrast. Here you have the annadatas,
Yes.
the givers of grain,
Food givers.
who are feeding people and getting contribution. And here you have Modi government, 9 crore tons of food grains,
FCI godowns.
rotting.
Yes.
But they are not making it universal.
Yes.
Still priority section,
Yes.
not 35 kilos, 20 kilos.
Yes. Not even during Corona also.
Very, very
Yeah,
limited.
yeah, they never thought of even distributing them. Yeah, it's rightly said. Wonderful observation that is. And one last question before we leave, ma'am. I think the signal has come for us to leave. I would like you to demarcate the two important movements, one before Corona and another after Corona. That is Shahil Bagh and this is farmers' protest. Shahil Bagh somehow did not get this kind of universal response from Indian people. Somehow Though, yes, I very clearly admire the role played by Muslim women there in that movement. I admire their guts, I admire their courage, but still somehow some kind of anti-national color was given to it, and people could not join as much as we want them to. And of course, even because of Corona also it got scuttled. But whereas this one completely is in a different light. Could you just elaborate on this?
You see, this one is directly linked to livelihood and the right to life.
Yes.
So it is something which is directly impacting right now.
Yes.
It is not something in the future which you have to anticipate. It's happening right now. If it passes, the APMCs are over.
Yes.
Procurement is going to be affected. Prices are going to go down. Monopolies are going to be created. Everybody knows that. So it is happening now. What happened with the anti-CA movement? I believe it was a most historic movement because unlike the impression which is there that it was not so large, in fact, it was the first movement which was a secular movement which challenged the Modi government in its most fundamental avatar of the toxic Hindu Rashtra.
Yeah.
After all, what is it? You change citizenship definition. It's the first step.
Yes.
Because our citizenship is secular, given by constitution, not by my religion, not by the religious text. So it was felt by many, ये तो सिर्फ मुसलमानों की बात है.
Yeah.
That is the Modi government propaganda.
Yes.
But slowly, as people saw again the courage of the women, and it spread all over India. It was an organic movement. Unlike what they say, that it's funded and this, it's an organic movement. Nobody can organize such things unless there's a spontaneous movement towards it. And in Assam, it was not just Muslims who were affected.
Yes.
Out of the 19 lakh people who were denied citizenship rights, majority were Hindus,
Yes.
scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. So, who is a citizen of India? Because it was seen that it was affecting one particular section of our society, the Modi government tried to demonize that movement. At that time, the left had said, they are demonizing them today. Tomorrow, your movement will be demonized. What have they done? They called them anti-national. Today, they are calling them Khalistanis.
Yes.
China agents, Pakistan agents. The same they said about the anti-CA movement.
Yes.
So, this is a government which does not accept the right to dissent, the right to protest, and does not have the wisdom to understand the deep roots of Indian democracy, and that it cannot just be pulled out and thrown away because you want to go the Hitler way.
Yes.
People of India are not going to accept it. So that is the point. But I think the demonization of the anti-CA movement, we see the same trends here. And tomorrow, when working class fights, they will face exactly. When women fight,
The same thing.
what is this love jihad?
Yeah, love jihadis.
If a woman has a right to decide her own partner,
Yeah.
but that is also communalized.
Yes.
So every section will get the same
pinch of-
treatment because this is the DNA of this government.
Yeah. Rightly said.
It's either my way
Yeah.
or no way.
No way. Anyway, no. Thank you.
Thank you so
comrade,
much.
for giving us this brief interview.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.